Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Yes, finally, Godzilla King of the Monsters is available to watch in your home if you purchase it digitally in glorious HD. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I couldn't wait to get home on Tuesday and buy it. I got home, went to Amazon, pressed buy, and it came with no special features. We'll get into that in a minute, but before we do, of course, let me introduce you to my co-hosts and cohorts on the Godzilla Block Party. Number one, you know him as G73. I know him as Megzy, but his mommy knows him as Chase. Chase, what's up, my brother? How you doing?
Man, we need to get this Godzilla versus Kong stuff on the oil machine now.
Yeah, for real, right? Let's do that. Also joining us, you know him as GamGamZ1. We know him as Brother Drew, not Jew, Jesus Christ. Brother Drew. It's been a long day. Yo, GamGams, what's up, my brother?
So, since you already bought the digital version on Amazon, when you buy the physical version, can I get that download code, fam?
Gotcha, fam. Oh, man.
Hey, you're not gonna buy a physical copy?
I am, but my mom wants the digital code, and considering I don't have any money right now, and I do not currently have the digital copy.
I see. I see. That makes sense. Before you say that, a shout out to Ray. He gave me a download code for the Predator, and I gave him one for the Meg. So yeah, we're download code happy over here.
That's right. We download codes, mother. Let me stop. It's true. I still have yet to watch the Meg. From that code. I'm going to do that. I'm going to install that this weekend and just enjoy it because... Man,
I've watched it, and now Shark Week being a thing, it's kind of cool.
The Meg is such a good movie.
I love that movie.
It's an acquired taste. But, no, I did enjoy it. I can't lie. I'll tell you what I enjoyed more than that, though. Rampage.
But I like Rampage.
I mean, yeah, you're not lying.
Yeah, but that's not what this podcast is about. This podcast, is about Godzilla and the Block Party and everything that goes in between. So, like I said, yes, King of the Monsters came out digitally this week, and I bought it off of Amazon, and there were no special features, and I was so bummed out by it. I still watched the movie. It still looked great in HD, and I still am going to buy that 4K when it comes out at the end of this month. But, yeah, it's actually kind of crazy to think that just 2.5 months ago, we were sitting in the theaters watching this movie, and now I'm sitting on my couch watching this movie. The turnaround for these movies have been coming because regardless of what the box office did, Legendary also turned around Detective Pikachu pretty quick digitally and on Blu-ray. So I don't think it had anything to do with the box office. I could be wrong. But I think that's just Legendary and Warner Brothers saying, hey, all right, it's run its course. Let's put it out and let's get some more money while it's still, in the public conscious. But, yeah, man, there's a lot of things we were talking about before we came on air. Most importantly, we were talking about what could be or should be and what we're probably not getting, and that is exclusive Blu-rays, DVDs, exclusive physical copies from different manufacturers, different places Walmart and Target and Best Buy and Amazon, and I don't think we're getting anything exclusive. I mean, we haven't seen anything, right, Chase?
I mean, not to the full extent. I mean, Walmart did have a thing that if you bought this 2-pack, it was the 2014 film and something. I don't know what exactly it was, but it's something they did. If you bought the 2014 film, you got a free download code early for King of the Monsters, and you could watch it at purchase. Other than that, there wasn't really much. Zavvi has a thing where they have this 3D type steelbook thing, but it's nothing really special. They also have this version that comes with vinyl CDs of Bear McCreary's music.
Oh, that's nice.
So, I mean, I guess if that's what you want, but other than that, I mean, not many people have record players anymore. So that's kind of one of them. Vinyl record players. So I mean, Zavvi has a few things, but those aren't like officially licensed Warner Brothers things. I mean, I guess they are because they are products of Warner Brothers and Legendary, but they're not being advertised at all by Warner Brothers as a thing to buy.
Right.
So I wouldn't really consider them legitimate in my eyes, but I wouldn't really consider them exclusive because I mean they're really to me it's like a high tier bootleg. You know, I don't know. It sounds weird, but it's like it's nothing that like it's nothing that piques my interest for one, and
okay, we lost Game. His power went out, so all right, but he'll be back. Don't worry, when he gets back, we'll talk to him. But just want to throw that out there. All right, but yeah, go ahead, Chase.
But yeah, other than that, the only thing digitally that has had somewhat of an exclusive is I guess the rumors are iTunes has an exclusive like creature thing where they like do little special like monster statistics, and the only big thing to come out of that, which was why I think it's it's kind of silly. It's the Godzilla critical mass form has been labeled Burning Godzilla.
Oh boy!
And the only thing with that is that nothing has really had stagnant proof that it's there. And now that the movie's out on iTunes, no one has said anything about it. No one has posted anything further. And I feel like if it was legitimate on iTunes, somebody would be saying something about it.
Right.
And why would it just be Godzilla, you know? Yeah. So I don't think that is a legitimate thing. But if it is, I mean, I think it's dumb. If it also is legitimate, I don't think it's an official thing from Warner Brothers or Toho. I think it's just something iTunes did to kind of, shove one out with the fans. I think they're just doing it for the namesake, calling it Burning Godzilla because, it's like, oh, what do the fans know? What do they call it? Burning Godzilla, da-da-da-da. I still think it's critical mass or thermonuclear Godzilla, but that's really it. Other than that, I mean, Mike Doherty was just talking about a few things coming out with the physical release, but I don't know if you're ready to get into that
we'll
yet.
Get into that
that's
in a minute.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it for the digital stuff or the exclusives. There isn't really anything.
It's kind of a bummer, games, because like you get like especially from Warner Brothers. I'm going to use that as an example because their last couple of DC movies, I would say Wonder Woman and Aquaman, for instance. I'll use those two as an example. They had different like collector's editions from different venues. So I bought mine at Target, or Wonder Woman. So I got the Wonder Woman that comes with an art book. It looks like a book, like the Blu-ray looks like a book. It comes with a book inside. It's pretty dope. And I know Walmart had a different thing, and Best Buy had a different thing. Same thing with Aquaman. And then I honestly thought that maybe we would get something like that for King of the Monsters. Does that bum you out in a little bit, Gams?
I mean, it kind of does, but what I wanted is see, back in 2014, Toho released their own exclusive Blu-ray that had like it was like a full spread out thing. It had like 3 or 4 discs on it. It had like this book detailing about the movie and Gareth Edwards' process, and it came with an SH Monster Arts figure that was the poster version of Godzilla.
That was a Japanese exclusive.
Yes. I'm sad that we didn't get one of those for King of the Monsters, where it's kind of the same thing, but with Michael Dougherty's thoughts on his process of the movie, and like an Atomic Glow Godzilla or something.
Ah, yeah, that would have been cool, actually. I'd have been digging that stuff. Not for nothing. I've got the Dark Knight, and I got like a collector set of the Dark Knight, so it came with the Bat Pod, and it's like one of my favorite things ever. I would love to get a Godzilla movie, something similar to that, where you could get like either a cool figure or, I don't know, just something cool. It is what it is. But let me ask y'all this, because this is what we were talking about before we went to air, and this is actually a good conversation. Why do we think they didn't do anything exclusive for different venues. You know, like why didn't they make, I don't know, a Godzilla Book of the Movie version for Target, or a Godzilla super dope steelbook version for Walmart, or a Godzilla I don't know, action figure Best Buy exclusive. Chase, why do we think, like, what could possibly be the reason that Legendary and Warner Brothers did not go that route?
You know, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I was like, if you would have asked me this question maybe months ago or maybe a year ago, I'd have been like, I think it's because when Godzilla vs. Kong comes out, they're going to release this big quadrilogy type thing, and they're going to put all this bonus stuff in it. But now I'm like, with Legendary really wanting to press on the envelope that the Godzilla universe is trying to survive after Godzilla vs. Kong, I don't even think they're even thinking like that. I think what it is now is just one, whoever is in charge, and this is actually another thing too, is because I heard King of the Monsters has a darker tone added to it now as well in its physical release, and that's kind of bummer.
Wait, time out. Wait. You're telling me they're gonna do a filter on the King of the Monsters print for the physical copy?
Well, that is what everyone is saying thus far.
It better not.
It has yet to be seen.
I mean, I hope not, because they made the Blu-ray version of the 2014 movie darker, and that physical version, despite the fact that it's a good movie overall, the Blu-ray transfer is trash because you can't see anything without turning up the brightness on your TV like 50 billion.
Oh, watching it at midnight.
And that's where I was going to get, is that some people are saying it is, and it's yet to be seen. But, I mean, I'm not sure what's going on. That's all of what I've been hearing. But what I was going to lead with that is that I feel like whoever's in charge of distributing and creating the DVDs, they don't know exactly what they're doing. I mean, look at the past movies we've gotten with the DVD menus. They've been trash. They're half-ass.
Yes.
They're little dots that you click on, and they have the bonus features in them. That's lame.
Yeah.
Lame. And the way they get compressed. I mean, Kong Skull Island was fine. Kong Skull Island was fine, so I don't understand why Godzilla has to be dark. I don't know why they have to compress it to where the filter is dark. I don't get it, but if that's the sake, I hope it's not true too, because that's going to suck. I mean, luckily my Blu-ray that I got with Godzilla 2014 isn't filtered. I don't have it dark. There's not this dark hue. I can see it crisp and clear. I can see it as in theater quality. But yet I've gone through almost 8 DVDs of Godzilla 2014, so
wow.
I probably just found a lucky one.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's still disheartening to hear that, but I think it's literally just whoever's in charge of making these DVDs, they're not really into it, for one. I don't think they understand the concept, and for you to like make an interactive DVD screen and make it interactive for the viewers at home, you got to have that kind of imagination and creativity inbound with you. And if you don't have that, you don't have that. You're just going to half-ass put something out there. And that's just kind of, I feel like that's where Warner Brothers is at. I feel like when they make these, they're just like, let's just get it out, not spend money on it, because I definitely think money is also an issue. I think that's how it is. But for some reason, I feel like King of the Monsters might be different. I think King of the Monsters might be the next step, in the right direction. But we'll see. I just hope it's not dark. I guess it just remains to be seen.
Gams, let me ask you, why do you think we're not going to see any of these collector edition exclusives from these different, venues?
Gotta be honest, it's probably because Toho and Legendary and Warner Brothers just do not really care about their home releases. Just kind of like Chase said, I mean, look at the DVD menu for the Meg. It's trash. And look at the DVD menus for like the Sony Blu-rays. Yeah, that's partially Sony's fault, but those are also trash.
Those are trash.
I'm not sure about the Kraken DVDs for like the show movies and stuff, but I could bet you that their menus are probably trash too.
I have a question real quick too. Isn't Shin Godzilla's DVD menu kind of crap too?
It is garbage.
Wait a minute.
It is garbage.
But that movie's garbage, so we expect that.
Well, no, but I bring that up because that actually makes sense coming from with Toho. Exactly. But Kong Skull Island is the same thing, and that wasn't... Well, it did have a Toho license with the Godzilla and them, but that shouldn't have reflected on the DVD menu.
You're right. But Kong Skull Island had a decent picture up. I mean, but the menu was still rather just static. It was better than the dots of 2014, absolutely. Let's hope that they do something with King of the Monsters.
Like literally, I think the only people out there right now that are putting effort into their DVDs, like the menus and stuff, is probably Disney and Marvel.
Yeah. But and that brings me to my point. Go ahead, though.
So it's just a thing that's just been happening in today's home videoscape. It's just a lot of laziness going on the company's part. But I mean, let me just blurt out what we're all kind of implying here. It could just be because they didn't make enough money in the box office, and they don't have enough money to make all these fancy versions.
That's exactly where I was going, because you said Disney Marvel puts out the best DVD menus. Now, I'm not even talking about the menus. But because we mentioned it, my co-host, they're absolutely right. And anybody who owns these DVDs or Blu-rays could go and look at the menus and see it's true. To me, one of the best Godzilla menus is Miramax's Godzilla vs. Biollante. That is a great menu. You got clips from the movie, you got music from the movie playing, and when you move it to like play movie, special scene selection, blah blah blah, it's Biollante's rows. It's awesome. Things like that really do matter for just fans. Whether it's
hang on, time out.
Yeah.
Pointing that out, do you know who owns Miramax?
Disney.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, and that's funny because they've owned Miramax for quite some time. Before that even dropped. Before that Blu-ray DVD even dropped. So even then, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. It is that type of quality assurance that we get from them. Now, talking about the menus, I'm talking about these special releases, these things that we're not going to get. We're going to get a regular, across the board, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Amazon, wherever you purchase your movies from, FYE, The Wiz. Y'all don't know about The Wiz, but some of you old folks remember The Wiz, right? We're going to get like pretty much the standard same thing, whether it's a DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K. I'm pretty sure the box art's going to look the same, be the same. Maybe it's a difference from the DVD to the Blu-ray to the 4K. You get a different box art. But as far as anything special about it, everything inside that case is going to be the exact same thing. You're going to get the same special features on the DVD that you will for the Blu-ray and you will for the 4K. This is what I believe. And the reason why I believe that and what Chase and Games is... What?
Maybe for the DVD, the special features will be on a separate disc, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I haven't bought a legit DVD in I don't know how long because, since the PlayStation 3, I've had a Blu-ray player. So it's been quite sometimes 2 generations going into 3. But what I'm saying is, and Gams and even Chase touched on this, I honestly believe because of the lack of success for Godzilla King of the Monsters in the box office, and make no mistake about it, I hate saying that, but it's true, goes and then it transitions into, well, we didn't make that money where we can say, yo, here, check this out, we're gonna put these like super collector's editions out and then license them out to whoever wants them. Like, hey, who's the highest bidder for this? Because if it didn't make money, let's say I'm Walmart, Chase is Target, and Gams is Best Buy, and as these companies, we know, well, that movie didn't really do well at the box office. Whoever's in charge of this stuff, right? Whoever's in charge. That movie didn't do well at the box office. So why would I bid high for this special edition if nobody's really going to buy that? Now, you go out of your way, let's say Legendary Warner Brothers goes out of their ways, and they, you know, they dunk millions of dollars into, you know, several of these cool collector edition Blu-rays or what have you, physical release. And then they figured they're going to get that money back from the bidding. Target, you get this. Best Buy, you get that. And Walmart, you get that. But if they're not bidding because they know that the movie didn't make money in the theaters, who in their right mind is going to say, okay, we'll give you X amount of money so we can get that particular version? It's not going to happen. And money plays a huge factor into this. And again, but I want to say I am not mad at all, because that just means I save money. It just means we save money. And I'm going to be honest with everybody here. I think this should be the norm for physical releases, for everything across the board, whether it's Godzilla movies, whether it's superhero movies, whether it's horror movies, action movies, dramas. I think this should be across the board. There should be no like special collectors. And I know I'll probably get a lot of flack for that, and people be like, oh, but I like the collector's editions. I do too. I own Star Wars 89,000 times. It's true. I'm not lying. Because of all the different collector's editions. But when it comes to stuff like this, it saves you money. It really does. In the long run, it saves you money. We're all getting the same thing. As long as what's on the disc itself, the special features on the disc are well worth it, and the menu is pretty, then I think we're good to go. But I ain't gonna lie. I would like a really good copy like Chase got of Godzilla 2014, where I could actually see it without fucking with the TV settings. Damn it. But yeah, so that's just my like 5-10 cents right there. That's my 15 cents of why I think we're not going to see any of these things. It comes down to money. And yes, we did take a hit. Warner Brothers, Legendary, and the fans, well, not the fans, because we enjoyed the movie. But Warner Brothers and Legendary took a hit when it came to it. And they're like, well, we didn't recoup enough money. Why would we sink more money into something that if nobody's going to buy it? So that being said, fingers crossed for Kong. Godzilla vs. Kong. I almost said Kong Skull Island again. Having flashbacks of last week. Oh, crap. And that's a perfect segue into our next topic, which I'm sure Brother G73 Chase is going to be very, very upset at. And that is, we're going to get Godzilla vs. Kong in 2020 in March.
So, yeah, I'm going to lead into that. Yeah. I think the guy's horseshit. I think the guy that is talking about all that, I think he's still doing damage control. I do. I'm sorry, guys, but until we get a trailer or a poster that is new saying March 13th, I think it's all a hoax. I do. I think that it makes no sense for Godzilla vs. Kong to come out in March, especially with Ben Affleck's movie coming out. Warner Brothers is not that stupid, regardless of what you want to think. Well, they could be that stupid, but they can't take that risk, period. If they want Godzilla vs. Kong to be successful, they cannot put out another product within that movie. I think that guy is just telling people that maybe he isn't informed yet what's going on. I think he's just telling people so people don't freak out. I do not think Godzilla vs. Kong is coming out in March. I think what he said is damage control. And, yeah, that's where I think it is. He did say it's still slated for that, but he does mention that it is a possibility it can get delayed. He does say that in the article. So I think he's doing damage control. So I'm sorry. I think he is. I think at this point they're just telling people what they want to hear, so people don't act like they're going to be freaking out. Because another thing is, and this comes on to the topic of money. Several articles now, Legendary and people from Warner Brothers have mentioned they are not disappointed or worried about Godzilla King of the Monsters box office intake. Okay? And I think that is damage control. You don't want to be a company that's like, yeah, we are bummed and upset and we're going to rush out a product. I think it's all just in the making of what's going to come. And I don't think what we're going to get is Godzilla vs. Kong in March. Now, until a trailer comes out or something comes out and says March 13th, Godzilla vs. Kong, then fine, I'll be happy for it because it's Godzilla and Kong and that's what we want. But even then, if something comes out, let's say in October, because the rumor is in October we will see a trailer. In October, if something comes out for Godzilla vs. Kong and it says March 13th, I'm still going to expect there's going to be a piece of news saying it's getting pushed back sometime in the spring of 2019.
I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think it's going to come out in March. I don't.
If they drop a trailer in October and it says, let's say, March 2020, I don't think they're going to change it. Only because of what we spoke about previously with King of the Monsters. You dropped the trailer a year early, and then the hype died down. I don't think they're going to do that again. I think they know. You know,
and that's a good point. So that's why I'm thinking, did Andrew get cut again?
I think he did.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's my point, is that I don't think it's coming out in March, because if it is true that let's just put it this way. The reason why I think that way is if it's coming out in March and they are worried about King of the Monsters intake and they are worried about what Godzilla vs. Kong is going to do, they're basically rushing a movie at this point. And I think that if that is the case, they're just destined to set them up for failure. And I think that that's not what they're trying to do. And so that's where I'm concerned about all of this coming out in March, because I feel like since Warner Brothers has stated many, many times that they want the Monsterverse to continue after Godzilla vs. Kong, like we all want it to, I don't think they're going to take the risk and have it fail. So that's why I really think that when we do see that trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong, it is not going to say March 2020.
Wow. Okay, let's, ladies and gentlemen, G73, my brother Chase, he has put down a conspiracy theory where he said, I don't trust him. He don't believe.
I absolutely don't trust him. And I hate saying that, but I don't.
And I'm not mad at you at all. I'm not mad at you. I'm going to take a page out of your book before this conspiracy theory. Before you became Jesse the Body Ventura, which I love, by the way. Not a knock. I absolutely love that dude. And all of his theories.
You mean Blaine from Predator?
You know it.
Yeah.
I believe what I've seen. Just like you, like I said, I'm going to take a page out of your book. Until it says otherwise, then I'm going to be like, okay. But as of right now, I believe this movie will come out in 2020. And again, to your point, if they show a trailer in October or even November for Godzilla 65, and it says 2020, yeah, they can't push that back. They would be doing themselves a disservice. Now, I agree with you, the continuation of the Monsterverse and what they want to do with that. Does it make monetary sense, especially with what we just saw from King of the Monsters? And again, I agree with this. The fact that they're saying we're not worried about that box office take is damage control. I look at it another way too, though. I also look at it this way. We never set out to make a movie the size or scope of Marvel. I mean, don't get me wrong. It does have like a gigantic scope. It's gigantic monsters. But did they go in saying, we're going to make the next Avengers Endgame? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't even think they said we're going to go and make the next Doctor Strange, as much as I don't like that movie at all. But they knew they weren't making like a Marvel-style movie. They were like, we're just going to throw this out there. So in one case, I agree with them saying, in one case, I agree with you by them saying we don't care about the box office being damage control. But then on the other hand, I'm saying maybe they are saying that because that's what they honestly believe. Because they didn't set out to make that big movie. To the other,
and I hope, and don't get me wrong, in a perfect world, I would love, and there's that word again, or the phrase, perfect world. I would love Legendary and Warner Bros. To be like, yeah, you know what, King of the Monsters was for the fans. And that's what they have been saying. King of the Monsters was for the fans, and it is what it is. but we're not worried about Godzilla versus Kong, and it's still on track to do what it's going to do. I would love that, to take that with full confidence. I mean, I think we all would, you know,
Gotcha.
But as a money standpoint and a business standpoint, the thing that makes the world go around and it's the root of all evil, do we really think that Warner Brothers is that modest?
All right, good question. We got Gam Gams, you're back, right? We got you back?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm here.
All right, yo, that was a great point Chase just made, so let me ask you a question. Judging by that, if Legendary and Warner Brothers are saying that Godzilla King of the Monsters, we took a hit, it's okay, this was for the fans anyway, do you think that's a tax write-off?
Oh, a tax write-off?
Yeah. By them saying that, I'm just like, I'm just saying, they saying, okay, we took a huge hit, but don't worry, because we made it for the fans anyway. Just write that shit off. Just write it off. It's like...
I mean, maybe. It very well could be. I mean, have there been, like, tax write-off movies like that before? Has that been a history of a thing?
I'm sure I'm sure there's been some movies.
Maybe like Pearl Harbor.
That's not fair. I like Pearl Harbor and it's 17 different discs you gotta boot up.
Okay, well, I didn't mean tax write-off in a bad way.
No, I gotcha. But no, anyway, I was joking with the tax write-off thing. I tried to.
But no, that is a good point though you've made, because I bet there are.
They could. I mean, honestly, they could. But okay, so all right, to G73's point and to what this topic right here is about, the keeping Godzilla versus Kong at March 2020. Is this a good idea, bad idea? Do you believe they're going to do that? Or are you down on Chase's conspiracy train and riding that shit all the way through?
I mean, I saw the post about this trailer prediction Twitter thing saying that it's coming out in October. And I'm holding reserves, but, you know, I'm going to say the same thing I said last week. Until somebody definitively says otherwise, it's still coming out in March.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And that's how I see it too, because but I just still think that there's more to it than what's being said. I mean, just because it's just fishy, because how everything was after Godzilla, after King of the Monsters, you know, that one guy that came out, that one CEO, he was saying like, it's probably going to get delayed. He was saying a whole bunch of things. And then apparently he got fired. And now they have this new person there.
Here's a conspiracy theory.
No.
TOHO went like this. Listen, you're going to put that damn movie out next year because we've got a shit ton of movies lined up and we can't do anything until you finish your shit. Now get that movie out so we can start producing Godzilla movies back in the lot. Let's go. That's conspiracy theory right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, I don't know. So the guy that got fired, they didn't say who it was exactly who got fired, but I think it may have been him. Because right after that guy made that statement, there was a lot of damage control stuff. And then they come out and say this person got fired and now this person's hired. So they didn't say names. But I don't know, guys. It just smells fishy to me, you know. Well, and it sucks because I really hope this doesn't hurt the movie quality wise.
Listen, if it smells fishy to Megsy, then that just confirms everything. Zilla 98 in Godzilla vs. Kong as a Titan.
Because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm going to be like, okay, I mistrusted my intuition, but. It's for the sake, like, I'm still open-minded. I want to go with the, like, in a perfect world method. If they're confident in the movie and they want it to come out in March, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to love it. You know, well, I hope I'm going to love it. But I also want to be on more of the fence, too, that I think that this movie isn't coming out in March. I think it's just, there's just too much knotted up at this point, and they're just trying to make it hush hush.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, either way, whether it comes out in March or the real place it should come out, November, either way, we're going to go see it. We're in. It's no doubt in my mind. We're definitely in. I want to talk about something real quick that's been making the rounds on the interwebs, and that is from King of the Monsters. And and honestly, I had to just I wanted to bring this up because it's funny and it's sad all at the same time. And then when I'm listening in our conversation we had yesterday over Messenger, I was cracking up because I'm like, wait, I thought this was legit, and now they're saying it's not. I'm talking about the Aguirus skeleton that is in Godzilla King of the Monsters that you can clearly see in, I guess it's Godzilla's lair, right? Where Serizawa comes to revive Godzilla with the atomic bomb. This picture's been making the rounds on the interwebs, and look, it's clear as day. That's Aguirus' skeleton. It is. It definitely is. But I mean, it's crazy. It acknowledges Aguirus, but Legendary is saying pump the brakes. That's just a different kind of kaiju. What is this? Is this Gigantus all over again? It's not really Godzilla? Gams, what's the deal here?
The fans, oh my goodness, is that Aguirus? Legendary. Well, yes, but legally, no.
What the... Why? Why would they do that? Is it because Toho said you only have the rights to these?
They don't have the rights to Aguirus.
But still, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just it's an Easter egg.
Yeah, it's an Easter egg. That is precisely right. It looks like Aguirus, but it's not precisely Aguirus. If you really look at it, he only has like a single row of spikes down his spine rather than like the full carapace. And yeah, the head design is definitely Aguirus. And he's kind of, with the way he's laying down, it looks like he's on his knees, like the suit is. So it's definitely a reference, and could very well be Aguirus. Like say they finally get the rights to Aguirus, and they put him in like Godzilla vs. Kong or maybe something afterwards, if the MonsterVerse continues. Then that skeleton could very well be retconned later on to be Aguirus. Kind of like how that little child in Iron Man 2 was retconned to be a young Peter Parker, even though they didn't have the rights to Spider-Man back then.
Spider-Man, wait, Iron Man 2? I don't remember. When was that? What?
Remember in Iron Man 2 where there's the little kid with the Iron Man, the plastic Iron Man mask?
Oh, yes,
like
okay.
The light up.
Gotcha.
The light up repulsor ray.
Yeah. I've seen that movie twice, and so it's been that long.
yeah. Like, he was just a little random kid all beforehand, but then Kevin Feige came out and said, once they got the rights to Spider-Man, that was Peter Parker.
Wonderful. Chase, is that Aguirus or what? Is Legendary just, messing with us? What's going on?
No, it's Aguirus. I mean, come on. We thought Mountain Mover was Aguirus, and they're like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. I mean, look, Mike Doherty has already said on Twitter months ago that there is an Aguirus skeleton in Godzilla's lair, and I'm sticking with it. I just see it as it's just a ploy so they can do it safely. They can call it Aguirus legally.
Yeah, like I said, it is Aguirus, but legally they cannot say that it is.
Oh. It's like that joke in Austin Powers when they're running through the city and the robotic Godzilla on the car is running through, and they're like, oh, it looks like it's Godzilla. And they're like, it looks like it is, but it is not. It's that type of thing.
Yes, I gotcha. Talk about conspiracy theories. I was so certain that Mountain Mover was Aguirus.
I'll let you finish, but I have an impromptu question I want to get to you guys.
Well, I finished. Like I said, I was dead set, and you know that. You go back a bunch of podcasts before the movie came out. When we saw that second trailer, I was like, that's Aguirus. Don't tell me nothing. Look where the horns on the dog. Look. And man, I was analyzing. I started doing.
And then it turned out to be Methuselah.
And then it turned out to Z, and that doesn't even make no damn sense. I don't even like that name. It was Rockman. It was a rock monster. I was just mad. But I liked it. I love the design. I love the original kaijus that they bring into the universe. Titans, whatever you want to call it. I love that they did that. But damn it, man. Don't yank my chank is all I'm saying. All right? Or don't crank my yank. You know what I mean. Don't do that shit.
I mean, come on. At G-Fest, everybody was cheering like crazy when Behemoth showed up during the screening of the movie.
They screened it at G-Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah, did.
You haven't seen that? All the people in the audience singing Godzilla at the end?
No, I did not.
That was the most beautiful thing I ever saw.
Yeah, that
It
makes
was great. I wish I was there.
that makes me sad. I wish I was there too. All right, G73, you got a question, impromptu. Let's go. I love impromptu.
I got a question for you guys, and this is actually being voiced from Cameron, who's been on a few of our podcasts.
Okay.
He doesn't know this is being voiced, but he mentioned something. I saw him say something in the comment section, and it kind of got me thinking. Knowing the budget for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and with those titans involved, would you guys have rather them have not have been in the movie for budget's sake, or kept in the movie for budget's sake?
You want me to go Gams, or you want to take this first?
I mean, I only got really one thing to say about that. And story-wise, in order to convey that end scene where Godzilla truly becomes king, he needs subjects.
Agreed. So I keep them in there because I don't think that was a huge hit to the budget. I think where the hit comes from is I mean, look, there's an insane amount of fighting in this movie with the kaiju, with Godzilla and King Ghidorah. It's dope. It is absolutely dope. We get glimpses of the other Titans. It's not fully fledged. It's not full-fledged. It's not fleshed out. And so at the end, when you do see them again, you think about the hue it's in, the color tones, the filter they use. They kept it a little muted, so you don't really see like super fine detail and stuff. The only detail you see is on the stars of the show, which is Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Rodan. And even, not for nothing, now that I think about it, that Muto was pretty detailed. I love that Muto, by the way. Give me more of that Muto. But I keep that, and I don't think that was where the budget went. I think the budget went on special effects for the majority of the fight sequences, and I can't really say the actors, because as dope as those actors are, and I give super props to Warner Brothers and Legendary, they are not household names. Maybe Millie Bobby Brown because of Stranger Things, but she's not making more money than Vera Farmiga is, or Kyle Chandler, or whatever his name is. You know,
yeah, Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler. Or even Serizawa, which right now I'm going to shoot myself for forgetting his name. But Ken Watanabe. Oh my God. She's not making more money than them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she made more money than Homegirl that King Ghidorah ate, Serizawa's girl. Oh my God. You know who I'm talking about. Sally Hawkins. Thank you, Chase. I love you. So I can't say necessarily that the money went to the budget, because they got great actors. But if you think about where actors make money, let me rephrase that. When you think about actors who make money, those are blockbuster names. Like, you got your Tom Cruises, you got Will Smith, Chris Pratt,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I was getting there. I was going to say Robert Downey Jr. first, but like anybody from the Marvel side of things, like, you know, the big three, Chris Hemsworth now, you know, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Those are big. Those names command budgets. But when you look at somebody like, and I'm going to use Vera Farmiga because I think she is such a great actress. And look at the work she's done with movies that I would watch. And I'm not talking about her entire body of work, but movies I would watch. The Conjuring series, for instance. It's simple. It's almost poetic. She was also in the Bates Motel show. You know, so they don't command that type of budget. So I think the budget was spent on location, promotion, or if they had their budget to film and then they added that you know, promotional budget, which was crazy, and we spoke about this. We don't need to light up the Dubai Tower with Godzilla's, you know, atomic ray, and then the movie doesn't come up.
I also think a lot of the budget went into the score as well.
Ooh, that's a great point too.
Oh yeah, Bear McCreary has been on the the ball lately, and he's probably starting to get expensive to hire.
Well, he needs to go back and do another God of War. That's all I'm saying.
Just also think about everything they use in that score. They got Japanese priests. They got so many score, brigades of instruments and everything. It probably wasn't cheap.
It's a lot. There's a lot of things that go into making movies. We all know this.
And also, especially with the copyright from Toho to do Akira Ifukube's music.
And that is huge right there. That's a very important key factor right there, bro. It is.
Yeah, Toho is notorious. Probably a lot of the budget was just getting King Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra.
And that's another funny thing to bring up, too, because Mike Doherty totally came out and said the monsters that, basically he said Toho was going to allow us to use any monsters we want as long as we paid the price.
And there it is.
And he said Aguirus had a big, pretty penny.
Of course, that's the second monster. That is, if you think about it in Toho history, when it came down to their monsters, Aguirus is the second kaiju you ever seen on film. You saw Godzilla.
Yes,
you saw
but in terms of popularity, he's not like the big five.
Absolutely.
The big five being Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, Ghidorah, and Mechagodzilla.
I absolutely can't get the Mothra, Rodan. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I had to count on my fingers real quick. I was like, that sounds like 4. I'm stupid. I absolutely agree. I wouldn't have it in that order, but that's my personal taste, and I'm sure millions of y'all won't have that in thousands, whatever. But where was I going? I was going somewhere. The fact of the matter is, I absolutely agree. The budget to get these creatures, Toho being notorious for it, that would definitely cost money. Let me ask you, do you think King Ghidorah cost triple because of the heads? That's just a random question.
God, I hope not.
I mean, maybe the mocap cost triple because it's 3 different guys playing each head.
See,
you want to know what I think? I think King Ghidorah was the cheapest.
You think so?
I do. I think Mothra was the most expensive. I think Rodan was the second, and I think King Ghidorah was third.
Okay, dude, listen, bro. You've been chock full of weird-ass theories this whole podcast. Now I gotta know why you think that, because that's insane! I just watched this movie the other day. Mothra is in 15 seconds of the movie. What are you talking about?
I really think it's because Mothra and Rodan were kind of the first, and then King Ghidorah came in last. And I think people know more about Mothra than they do King Ghidorah.
I
disagree. I feel like people know more about Rodan than they do King Ghidorah. There are so many dragons.
Disagree.
There are so many dragons in our world. And I think King Ghidorah, popular in Godzilla's realm. But if you ask someone a giant 3-headed dragon or giant-headed dragon, they're not going to say King Ghidorah. They're going to maybe say something else. But if you say a giant pterodactyl or a giant moth, that's very distinct.
I will give you Mothra, but I will not give you Rodan.
I'm actually going to agree, but only half agree. I would flip King Ghidorah and Rodan.
Yes.
Because in terms of the popularity, like via surveys and whatnot, Mothra is number 2 next to Godzilla. She would be the most expensive. Rodan is number 4, either number 4 or number 5 in the big 5, and he'd probably be the cheapest. And King Ghidorah is number 3.
I would agree with that. And I don't even see it like that. But I agree.
I'm basing it off of popularity. I'm basing it on.
Well, I bet Toho is.
I don't know, because why would, I mean...
Wait, Chase.
Gigan's also a pretty favorite monster.
Chase, what are you basing it off of, though? I want to know that, because I'm trying to understand. What are you basing it off of? Because I'm trying to understand that.
I'm basing it off of not popularity at all, but what's been... what will be more easily documented? What will stand out with audiences better?
A 3-headed dragon! Easy!
No. Because if you're pulling in a general audience, they're going to know more about a giant moth or a giant pterodactyl more than a giant 3-headed dragon.
I disagree with that. I give you the moth because that's different. But Rodan, because you got to go back and look at like different movies. Jurassic Park, they don't have giant moths. They don't have giant radioactive dinosaurs.
Pterodactyls.
And that's my point. They got pterodactyls, so that's that. But they don't have giant 3-headed dragons.
You ever see Animaniacs?
I love Animaniacs. One of my favorite shows of all
Okay,
time.
and you've seen The Simpsons?
Yes, of course.
Every time in The Simpsons and Animaniacs, when they've done a Godzilla thing, it's been Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra.
And Gamera.
And in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, it was Godzilla and King Ghidorah.
That's true too. That's true too.
What movie?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yeah, but that's not okay, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
It's a great movie, man.
It's
got large parts.
But something as big as The Simpsons or the Animaniacs at that time?
Well, here's the deal.
I'm just saying, when you look up more media, mainstream type things, Mothra and Rodan...
Okay, let me get a little more mainstream.
By a landslide.
Let me get a little more mainstream. In Courage of the Cowardly Dog, there was an episode where Courage opened the door and King Ghidorah was behind it.
I don't remember that at all, but even like in Dragon Ball Z, in Dragon Ball Z they had King Ghidorah and Gigan.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So
Yet again, not everybody watches Courage the Cowardly Dog or watches Dragon Ball Z, but there's a lot of people that watch Simpsons, and when Animaniacs was around, there was a lot of people that watched the Animaniacs.
Listen.
And but that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, when you see Godzilla stuff mainstreamed, Rodan and Mothra are the ones that are mainstreamed the most.
This gives me a great idea. I want to do a poll here. So anybody listening right now, I want to put this poll out right now.
Do you have the community tab?
I don't know. Dude, what do I don't monetize this stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just podcasting because I have fun talking to you guys, my brothers, about Godzilla, something we all love. That's why I do it. And I like to share it with everybody because, we've been getting conversations going in the comments. So I'm okay with that. That's why I want to ask you guys out there this question. Answer this question. And this is, I'm just curious. Rank, in terms of you, how would you rank the popularity? Because I do agree with the Mothra thing. I think it would be Godzilla, then Mothra, absolutely. And everybody out there knows, I've said this a million times on podcasts, you two definitely know this. Chase, you absolutely know this. Rodan is my second favorite monster of all time. Second favorite. I do not put him before King Ghidorah in terms of popularity. And I'll tell you why. Because King Ghidorah is the ultimate Godzilla villain. And that's why I believe that in terms of popularity and public, and I get what you're saying with like The Simpsons and Animaniacs, but Animaniacs is really obscure, bro. That only happened from like 1990X to 1990X plus 2. And that was it, and it was gone. It was gone. I remember when Animaniacs first aired, because you watched that, and then you watched Batman the Animated Series. Then I changed the channel at 5 o'clock, and I watched Saved by the Bell and Different Strokes. Or Charles in Charge. I remember this.
I mean, I'm not saying that Rodan is more popular than King Ghidorah. That's why I said I'm not basing it off of popularity. I literally think it is what is more mainstream, and I don't think King Ghidorah is more mainstream than Rodan.
I think
I haven't seen really anything with King Ghidorah in multiple things. I've seen Mechagodzilla in more stuff than King Ghidorah.
Where's Rodan in the Netflix series?
Rodan.
He's in the beginning with the flashback to the catastrophe.
So there's no real onus on Rodan in that series. And I don't even want to talk about Mechagodzilla, how bad and poor that was done. But I mean, Mothra's in there. And it's an onus because you got the fairies. And again, I can't even use Mothra because that's absolutely, I agree with. Definitely the second most popular kaiju. That's why Toho made a trilogy for Mothra and they never touched Rodan. But think about this. Think about this. In that Mothra trilogy, King Ghidorah pops up twice. One as Death Ghidorah and then as Grand King Ghidorah. There's no Rodan.
But I think that's irrelevant to talk about. That's based off of popularity. I'm not talking about popularity. But also, as I was looking for Godzilla King of the Monsters stuff to report on, anytime I saw like a message board, the most monsters that were being talked about were Rodan and Mothra.
Because they were so obscure. Because when the movie was coming out, they were the ones that were hidden the most. you wanted to see what Godzilla was going up against, so they were going to throw King Ghidorah in your face. They were going because he is the big bad. He's the end all. And we didn't know where Mothra or Rodan fell yet. We didn't know where their allegiances were. We knew King Ghidorah was bad. This movie's called King of the Monsters. Well, it's Godzilla King of the Monsters. And as fans, we know Godzilla's gonna win and prevail. We didn't know how it was gonna happen. We weren't expecting the spectacle of what happened, the pulse and Mothra's wings and all that fun stuff. To me, when you say mainstream and popularity doesn't equate, I think it does, because in order to be popular, you gotta be mainstream. And Rodan doesn't come close to what King Ghidorah is in popularity. And I think that would go... Yeah, okay.
Mainstream outside of the fandom.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I still give the nod to King Ghidorah. There's never been a Godzilla versus Rodan movie, but we've had Godzilla versus Mothra twice, and Godzilla versus Monster Zero, and Godzilla versus King Ghidorah twice. And there's never been a Godzilla versus Rodan movie, you know. And the movies that we grew and the movies from the Showa era, King Ghidorah has always been the bad, the big bad. So when you think about that, and this is again before we were around, like when those movies came out, and then for me, growing up watching those movies, right? King Ghidorah was always the big bad. There wasn't like the Heisei series where it was, here's King Ghidorah, here's Mothra, here's the ones you know, and here's Mechagodzilla. Oh, and there's Rodan in that movie. Rodan's in the Mechagodzilla movie. So that's why I'm saying, in terms of mainstream, and I get what you're saying as far as fandom goes, but what was mainstream in the Showa era, and when I say mainstream, it was because they were coming out in theaters, whereas the Heisei series didn't come out in theaters. Godzilla 2000 came out in theaters, and it only had Ogra, and that was it. And then the rest of the Millennium series didn't come out in theaters, and then Shin Godzilla came out, and that was his own worst enemy. King Ghidorah has always been a mainstay, and that's why I believe.
And look, I like I said, I know what you're saying, but I don't think you're seeing it from my view. I do not think that a general audience man or woman, if you said a giant butterfly or a giant pterodactyl or a giant three-headed dragon, a giant three-headed dragon is so specific. I don't think they would have more of a favor over King Ghidorah than they would know Mothra and Rodan. I just don't think that would be the case, because I never once, with being around people during the life of King of the Monsters, except the people in the fandom, I never heard any audience member or general audience person in my go around know King Ghidorah as well as they did Mothra or Rodan. Even my friends, they're like, I know Mothra and I know Rodan, but I don't know King Ghidorah. Those are my friends, my best friends that I'm here with. Even my mom's like, I know Mothra, I know Rodan. People that I went to work with, I know Mothra, I know Rodan, or I know Mothra, I know Mothra. If you mention King Ghidorah, they're like, what's King Ghidorah? Is that like a King Kong, not a King Kong thing, but I just feel like
that could be pronunciation though. If you would have said, do you know who King Ghidorah is? They'd have been like, oh, the three-headed monsters from Godzilla? Because there's a totally different thing. You know it, I know it, the world knows it.
Pretty much. A lot of the American audience who are nostalgic about the Showa era, they don't know King Ghidorah.
No.
They know Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
They know Ghidorah.
I think that's a really small ploy, though.
No, dude, no way, Jose. Because if
you say a three-headed dragon, they're gonna be like, well, wait a minute.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you.
In the Showa movies,
King Ghidorah, the three-headed dragon.
But see, no, but let's not. Now we're playing games, dude. Seriously.
Well, no, I'm just being honest with you guys.
We never said King Ghidorah, the three-headed dragon. We always said King Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, or Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. That is a title.
But that's what I'm trying to say on what Andrew said. He's saying that the name difference, or what you're saying, the pronunciation of the name. But if you mention a three-headed dragon, which is what was said. It wouldn't matter the Ghidra or Ghidorah.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. If you say the three-headed monsters, only one thing pops into my head, even if I wasn't a Godzilla fan.
There's also a very distinction with King Ghidorah, but with other dragons.
Very.
King Ghidorah's gold. A three-headed golden dragon.
But they never say that. I mean, so...
talking about in the namesake of Godzilla, or in the sake of Godzilla, what other three-headed dragons are there?
Death Ghidorah? Kaiser Ghidorah?
What you're trying to say is if you mention a three-headed dragon to a general audience member, they might think of the Hydra. They might think of some other thing. Those dragons aren't gold.
Okay, then listen to yourself. That's exactly what my point is. But if you say a giant butterfly or a giant pterodactyl...
No, the giant pterodactyl could be anything.
More than King Ghidorah.
And again, I give you Mothra because there's no other. There's no other. But nobody says a giant pterodactyl. Nobody. In my 40 years in life...
You say a giant eagle?
No, listen. Nobody's ever said that. They've said Rodan. I've never heard somebody say the giant pterodactyl, unless it was from the movie, but then that goes to the fandom.
I'm not saying what people said. I said the best way to describe the character to people to make them understand who it is. So they would understand better what a giant pterodactyl would be.
And to that point, I again bring up the Showa era and what we as Americans have perceived King Ghidra. It wasn't even King Ghidra. It was Ghidra, the three-headed monster. So if you're going to go and say the three-headed dragon, that might be one thing. But if you say the three-headed monster, guess what gets more props? That.
Okay, but you're saying that the reason why people don't understand is because one word switched for another. And no. I think that's irrelevant. People are saying
I think we're kind of talking in circles
dragon
here.
or an alien anyways.
Yeah, we definitely are talking in circles, and it's been over an hour, so it's time to wrap. So we even get to some of the stuff I want to get to.
Before we go, or before you get to that, I just want to shed something positive on this whole circle. Can we just admit that it's been a great year for King Ghidorah, though? Can we just admit that? We got, at least here in America, we got the Planet Eater. Yeah, terrible movie, but King Ghidorah was in it. We got King of the Monsters. King Ghidorah was in it. And we got that Universal ride. King Ghidorah was in it.
Oh, mainstream. Jesus. That's all I'm saying. And it's whether you think it's popularity or mainstream, The Simpsons and Animaniacs, you can't even use Animaniacs. I would definitely give you The Simpsons. Yeah.
Those are just two similarities.
Right. About Animaniacs.
I mean, I'm sure there's way more. I mean, even Aladdin, the cartoon, they had Genie turn into Godzilla and fight something that resembled Rodan.
What was that in the animated series?
In the cartoon on Disney Channel.
Yeah, nobody watched that, brother. The movie or bust. Nobody watched those things. Disney was making that for 4-year-olds. Nobody watched that.
But still.
I mean, okay, but like, the Gamera was in The Simpsons, and you ask a random person who Gamera is, they're going to be like, who?
Oh, wait, but don't forget South Park, when Mecha Barbara Streisand, right?
Yeah, Mecha Streisand, and I think she fights, Mothra or something like that.
Yeah, and Gamera. I think there was a Gamera. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but that was one of my favorite episodes of all time because of what it was. Also, Let's Fighting Love. Come on, man. Why are we talking about South Park when this is the Godzilla Block Party? We need to wrap this up.
That's my favorite show.
I ain't mad at you, my brother.
South Park's my favorite show.
I ain't mad at you, brother. It is one of the classics of all time, seriously. But listen. We are way out of time. We got to wrap this up. I want to thank y'all for being here. Brother Chase, thank you so much for being on the podcast with me.
Oh, always.
And Gams, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
You guys may not have realized this, but I have been popping in and out, and I am truly sorry. But it's been a pleasure being here for as long as I have been.
That'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Godzilla Block Party. I am G1. We out of here. Peace.